So welcome to Chair Yoga, and in today's class I'm going to ask you to have a strap handy. We're going to do a little bit of a different type of Chair Yoga class today. So we'll be focusing on the back and the hips, and traditionally with the yoga class we like to kind of sit at the front of the chair and get our posture and do the 6 directions of the spine. But today what I'd like to do is to use the chair in a slightly different position. And if you could bring the chair to the top of your mat and turn its direction to face you. So that's how it looks from one direction. I'm going to take mine off the mat so you can see me more clearly. And if possible, try to have your chair on a non-slip surface, so you really want the chair to be stable. And place both hands on the chair and simply walk back for a moment, coming to downward dog, pushing the hips back, lengthening the spine, and then gently ease off the stretch, bend the knees, support yourself with the chair, and come on down to the ground. And I'm going to ask that you have a strap handy close by. The goal here is to sit as close to the chair as you can and bring your legs up on the chair. So it looks something like this. If you need something under the head, you can bring a towel under the head. Now, if you look at my legs, you can see that they're kind of bent at 90-degree angles. So the thighs come out of the hips at 90 degrees, the knees bend at 90 degrees, and the feet are at 90 degrees as well to the ankle. 90, 90, 90. Now in Chair Yoga, this is called ecstatic back pose. And to start our class today, simply allow the spine and the low back in particular to sink into the floor. Now, some of you might be able to grab the legs of the chair with your hands. And the reason I like to do that is it drops my shoulders away from my neck. So I create a long, relaxed spine and relax the shoulders away from the neck. Then let the hands flop out onto the back of the hands, palms up. And consciously soften the back. Invite the muscles of the back, which get so tight, to relax. Gently turn the head to the right. And then the left. Bring the head back to neutral and slowly draw the right knee back towards the ribs and squeeze the right knee into the ribs. The foot might stay on the chair, it might come off. The low back stays supported and relaxed. Now turn this knee squeeze, this knee tuck, into a pigeon pose. So you grab the foot with the other hand and you draw the foot in towards your left hip, squeezing that leg in a pigeon type pose. So feeling all the sensations in the hips and legs as you do that, while the low back releases and lets go. So we're just starting off a very slow practice today. We'll do some more advanced work later, but just for now we're simply giving the back plenty of rest, opening up the hips nice and gradually. Release the right leg to the ground. That might require you to scoot the hips a little bit to the right. And you push out through the right heel. And you want your right foot vertical. So now we get a whole different sensation in the hip flexor on the right side. And then we're going to change this position of the shoulders by sliding the hands up 90 degrees out to the side. Turn the head to the right. And then the left. Clasp both hands behind the head for a moment. Push the low back into the mat. Lift the head up so you create a little crunch here. And wrap your forearms around the skull. Squeeze the skull. And you can even lift the back of the skull gently up, tractioning out the upper back and neck. Gently lay the head back down. Bring the hands out 90 degrees and relax. Turn the head to the right. And then the left. Grab your strap. Bend your right knee and put the right foot in the strap, heel to heaven. And just pull down on the strap, feeling the tension of the strap, pulling the top third of the foot down. Feel the tension in the back of the leg as the back of the leg starts to lengthen. And keeping tension on the strap the whole time, lower that right leg back to the floor and then back up into the air. It might get caught in the chair a little bit, so you can use one hand to keep the strap away from the chair. Just feeling that dynamic movement in the hip, up and down. The next time you come up, hold again. Take both ends of the strap into one hand, the right hand, and we're gently going to bring that right leg out to the right towards the floor. Push out through the heel, opening up the hip there. Nice sensation. If your foot is on the floor, just pull it up towards the head more. Gently bring that leg up and change hands. So the leg's still up, but the left hand now has it. Right hand comes out at 90 degrees, palm down on the floor. Roll onto the left hip and bring that right leg over the midline of the body towards the floor. Keep exploring with your head position. You might like to turn the head towards the leg or away from the leg, or neutrally towards the ceiling. For now, just do what feels good. And slowly bring it back up. Release the strap, bend the knee. Well, actually, you can hold the strap and bend the knee down towards the floor. Half happy baby. Half happy baby, you can grab the foot with your hand or hold onto the strap. So the bottom of the foot is facing the ceiling. So hitting the hips in a lot of different directions here, while the back rests and is supported. And to close this side, let's come back into pigeon. And release it once more to the floor. Hands out 90 degrees and relax. So by now the back should be really resting and the hips should be starting to feel a little open, at least on one side. And then replace the right leg back to the chair, come back to ecstatic back, hands at 45. And then squeeze the left knee towards the ribs. Really hug that left knee and opposite knee. This should feel good on the back. And then pigeon, grab the foot and knee, squeezing lower leg towards the ribs. Low back nice and pressed against the floor, against the mat. And then lay the left leg on the floor. Foot 90 degrees. Arms 45. And you might find initially that the low back tenses up again here. So use this as an opportunity to soften the back. Turn the head to the left. And then the right. And then bring the arms up to 90 degrees. Relax the low back. Bring the head to neutral if it's not there already. And then bending the left knee, capture the left foot in the strap, heel to heaven. Really letting that low back let go as we lengthen the back of the left leg. And then dynamic hip movement here. Lower the leg to the floor and back up. Keep the toes curled back the whole time, so you're really lengthening those muscles in the back of the leg. They get so short, so taxed during the day, those posterior chain muscles. And then once again, hold up. Oh. Take both ends of the strap into the left hand and open the left leg out towards the floor. Push out through the heel. Experiment with your head. Which direction feels good? To turn the head towards the leg, towards the ceiling, or to the opposite side. And you might enjoy all three positions. So opening up the left hip and the back continually being supported and resting. Slowly bring that leg back up and switch hands. Left hand out 90 degrees, palm down. Roll towards the right hip, bringing that left leg over the center line of the body. Experiment which direction you want the head turning. And then slowly come back up, bending the knee, coming into half happy baby on this side, holding the foot or the strap. And then bringing that into pigeon once again. Oh, your back's going to love this. As are the hips. Release that left leg back to the floor, 90-degree foot, hands out 90 degrees, relax the back. Bring both legs back onto the chair, 45 degrees ecstatic back. Now, depending on your condition today, if your back is really just sore and you want to continue in ecstatic back, you can. We're going to experiment here using the chair to support the back as we do some supported shoulder stands. So the important thing here is that the chair doesn't move away from you. So you can do that in a number of ways. One is to be on a non-slip surface, the chair. Number two, you can hold the legs of the chair with your hands. That's probably how I'll do it. Or you can have the chair up against a wall or a couch, something that's immovable. Because the chair is going to try and move away from you as you do the next exercise. Bring both feet back to the edge of the chair and you'll feel your hips lift up off the floor. So you don't want the chair to slip away from you here as you lose quite a bit of the effect. And I'm going to recommend that you have a towel or a blanket handy or a cushion. Lift up a little bit more so you really feel the quadriceps stretch here as the upper back gets massaged out on the floor. Stay up as long as you like. Squeeze the buttocks to support this chair bridge. Come down whenever you want and come back up whenever you want. If you're still in the upward position, lift the left leg off the chair and bring it up over the head. So only one leg is on the chair. Point and flex that foot. Rotate that foot in each direction. Bend that knee and change legs. Remember, you can come up and down as often as you like. Point and flex the foot, rotate the foot. Bring that foot back to the chair and carefully, one vertebra at a time, roll the spine back to your mat and come into ecstatic back. Now we're going to try the similar position, both feet on the chair, lifting the hips up and down a few times. See if you can come all the way down to the hips, up and down. If the chair's moving as you do this, try to secure it, because you want that feeling along the spine as you lift and lower, almost like you're massaging the spine out. The next time you lift up, this is where you might need a blanket or a towel handy. So I'm going to use a towel and I'm going to have it folded up a little bit so it's fairly thick. Have it beside you, close by, in arm's reach. Take the right foot into the air over the head, just like we did before. And then cross the right ankle over the left knee. So you've got a figure four here. This is where you don't want the chair to escape. Bring the towel or the blanket under your back. So you've got something to take the pressure off the spine. Now keeping the chair still, keeping the left foot still, slowly lower down in your figure four. If you feel like you can go lower, push the towel or the blanket lower towards the hips. So you're coming into a controlled deep pigeon. And you want to be at a point where the towel and the blanket supports your back, your spine, at just the right pressure. Not too much. You want that right hip to be really feeling it. And at the same time, relaxing into it. And what you'll find is over time, you can move that towel or blanket down a little lower because the hips can come down a little lower. If you go too far, just bring the towel or blanket back up to support the low back. Or mid-back, depending where you're at. So this is a very deep stretch in the piriformis. And slowly lift it up, remove the blanket or towel, and come back to ecstatic back pose. Hopefully you're feeling some difference between the left and right hip with that deep stretch. Prepare your towel and blanket for the other side. Bring both feet back, lift up, left leg up and over the head, Bring the towel underneath you, the blanket. And you might be surprised at the difference between one side and the other. So make sure the blanket is there. Cross the ankle and slowly come down. Yeah, so I feel a big difference on this side. But I'm in a position now where I can wait for the hip to relax as it opens, and then I can move the blanket down a little bit more. Not too much. So you can see how easily the chair might want to slip away. It's where it's important to make sure it's stable. Whoa! And lift up when you're ready and remove the towel or blanket, come back to ecstatic back. Turn the head to the left. And the right. Bring the head to neutral. And I'm hoping by this stage your back feels really relaxed. Clasp the hands under the head. Push the low back into the mat. Come into a little crunch, holding the head, supporting the head. Wrap the arms around the skull. Squeeze the skull. Now keep this crunch as you bring both knees back towards you and roll to one side so the feet come off the chair and you're rolled up into a little fetal ball and your head is supported by your lower arm. Carefully press up to a seated position beside your chair. Whew. Now we're ready for our yoga class. All right. The way I like to get up off the floor here from the with a chair support is to use the chair as much as possible to support me as I come to the knees and then the feet. And I always like the L stretch before we get going. And now walk towards the chair, grab your chair from the top of the mat and bring it to its original position when we started class. Take a seat. Whew. Wow. Walk your sit bones towards the edge of the chair, grab your knees, and let's do some very gentle torso circles. Let's take care of the spine in other ways. Other direction. Check out the low back as you do this. Your hips should feel fairly open right now. Let your head be nice and loose on the neck so you feel the vertebra of the neck let it go. Good. Oh. And slowly come back to the start. Relaxed upright, head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, knees over ankles. So it's nice to have the knees and the ankles about hip width distance apart. Floppy arms. And do a small quarter turn to the right, left, and then the right, with floppy arms. It's not going to be a big turn, but just feeling the spine twisting from side to side. Turning the head as well. And the next time you turn to the left, bring that left hand behind the back. You can grab the chair, right hand crosses over the midline of the body, and work on that left shoulder. So bring the left shoulder back and then release the tension. Bring it back, release the tension. Bring it back, release the tension. So it's like you're deepening the twist, relaxing the twist while you're in a twist. Pull. You're using those strong muscles at the shoulder blade area to pull back the shoulder and release. The next time you pull it back, drop the shoulder down and turn the head to the right. Ha. With that shoulder back and down, turn the head left and right slowly. Maybe at the speed of the breath. Inhale as you come to neutral. Exhale as you turn it to one side. Beautiful. Inhale the head to neutral, relax the shoulders, relax the twist, unwind. Let's go the other side. Scapular squeeze and scapular release. Pull the shoulder back and release. Squeeze and release. Good. The next time you squeeze, turn the head to the opposite direction. Drop that front shoulder as well. And then start your head rotations while you hold that back shoulder squeezed. Inhale to neutral, gently release the squeeze, release the twist, unwind. And maybe a little rock from side to side. Let the head come with you. For those who want, you can do head taps. Or rainbows. Getting the lateral directions of the spine. For 3, 2, and 1. And the last spinal direction, we'll do our tree hug alleluia movement. Inhale, lift the arms up, look up, alleluia. Exhale, drop the head down and wrap your arms around a big imaginary tree. Lift up, alleluia. Exhale, hug. And continue, alleluia. And the next time you come to Alleluia hold, for 3, reach, 2, and then slowly bring the hands together to the chest. Hallelujah. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me.
That was